Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you for being with me again today. Today I'll be in the shade here like a vampire, ready to jump and suck your blood. Well, it's hot outside. What do you want? Air conditioning, environment. Okay, so, all right, let's go. Where were we? We were at the fact that we have here an article talking about, if you remember, the three foreign fighters that were captured, excuse me, by the Russians, two British citizens and one Moroccan. Well, they got their sentence today, and that's not good for them, unfortunately. But what can I say? Let's see. This article comes from Yahoo, and I didn't think it comes from Yahoo initially, but this is what I got. From June 9th, 2022, by Bernard Armand and Juras Karmana. Foreign fighters face death. Two British citizens and a Moroccan were sentenced to death Thursday for fighting on Ukraine's side in a punishment handed down by the country's pro-Moscow rebels. The proceedings against the three captured fighters were denounced by Ukraine and the West as a sham and a violation of the rules of war. I like when they say the West, like that's a monolithic West. They all think alike, they're all the same, they all agree with one another. The West. Why don't you say three countries? And the rest didn't even say anything. I didn't hear, Portugal saying anything about it. Did you? Nothing. So nevertheless, but just pay attention. When I say the West or they say international community, no. How many countries out of the international community? What, the all 193 or 194 or how many they are? Pay attention. All right. So the proceedings against the three captured fighters were denounced by Ukraine and the West as a sham and a violation of the rules of war. Okay, let's see. A court in the self-proclaimed Donetsk People's Republic in Ukraine found the three fighters guilty of seeking the violent overthrow of power, an offense punishable by death in the unrecognized Eastern Republic. The men were also convicted of mercenary activities and terrorism. No Geneva Convention, but maybe they were not, right? We don't know. Russia's state news agency RIA Novosti reported that the men identified as Aidan Aslin, Sean Pinner, and Brahim Sadoun will face a firing squad. They have a month to appeal. Why do you think they have a month to appeal? Because that's how the law says, right? What do you think is going to happen in that month? Well, let me see. I think that in the first 3 weeks, or 3 weeks and a half, the West and Ukraine will call names and will say that these guys are not this. The Russians. They call them names. They're going to start yelling, crying, all that for about all the circus is going to be in town for about 3 weeks and a half. And then in the last 3 days, you're going to hear a little bit of toning down and then some little offers. Hey, how about we do this? How about we negotiate this? And some the punishments could be commuted. Could be from that to life in prison. But right now they're just trying to show, okay, we play hard. And maybe there will be, The separatist side argued that the three were mercenaries, not entitled to the usual protection accorded prisoners of war. The men are the first foreign fighters sentenced by Ukraine, Russia-backed separatists. So, what can I say? Let's go further. Ukrainian Foreign Minister spokesman Oleg Nikolenko condemned the proceedings as legally invalid, saying, and I'm quoting, such show trials put the interest of propaganda above the law and morality. He said that all foreign citizens fighting as part of Ukraine armed forces should be considered Ukrainian military personnel and protected as such. Well, if that's true, that's true. But if those guys find that these guys were mercenaries or terrorists, then bye-bye Geneva Convention, right? Well, but this gentleman says something else. So, I don't know if I already said that these three fighters will be, the sentence will be carried out by firing squad. So they will be killed by that, it says in this article. And it's right here, they will face a firing squad. Now, they're military. A military, I know that the custom is, I don't know if it's a rule or a law, but I know the custom is that if you are a military and you are sentenced to death, you are sentenced by firing squad, and that is the procedure. Let's put it this way. But this reminds me, and this should be, combatants, fighters, whatever you want to call them, military, mercenaries, terrorists. I don't know yet. And we're going to find out. The Russians will say whatever they want to say, and they have the power to do whatever they want. The other guys will say these guys were like something else, but they have no power. So it's going to be done how the Russians want it to be done. And they had time to extract every information from these three guys, by talking to them. So they got all the, their statements, however they want the statements to be. I guarantee you that's general procedure everywhere. Okay. Oh no, not there. Okay, yeah, because it's special. But this reminds me of another incident, and I would like you to put that in the same contrast with this one. Remember the Nuremberg trials, when the victors trialed the leaders of Germany, and there were most of them, they were military personnel. I think aside from Alfred Speer, I don't think he was the military. He was just an architect, whatever he was over there. So nevertheless, 90% of those people, they're Germans, were military, where they offered firing squads. Some of them requested that, and I said, well, I'm a military. I demand that. I should be given. Were they given? No, none of them. Zero. You know why? You know what happened? They got all hanged like a common criminal. You know why? What do you think? Because of what they did to the rest of the world? They're still military. Put that in the context with this. And just saying, at least, I don't want to say at least, because these guys are going to face death, nevertheless. But they're given this, the firing squad. The other guys were not given that. But by the way, if you want to look into who and how those trials were conducted, the Nuremberg trials, I have a very nice book written by a British historian. I can't give you too much information because he's not a really accepted historian, if you know what I mean. I will give you just his first name. His name is David, and he wrote another book. This book was the Nuremberg trials, his book, and another book that you can identify the guy was Dresden. He was the first guy who wrote about how the Great Britain and the Allies bombarded Dresden to a rubble and killed, I don't know how many, 100,000 people, burned them to death. And that was his success story. And then when he started to dig in other information, he was slapped and suppressed and arrested and all that. Just look into the guy. It's interesting. I'm not saying he's a saint. No, but you might get some information from that guy outside of the accepted dogma. So yeah, at least I don't want to say at least that's another version of the trials. So there's still a prosecutor from the United States. He was about 27 or 24, 27 I think at that time. He was born in Romania, if you can believe that. He was born, remember what I'm saying, it's very important. He was born in Romania, then he went to the United States. And he's still alive, he's 103. Look at him, look at his biography, and then you're going to find out who and what Nuremberg trials and why those guys were hanged instead of being shot. One of the reasons. All right, let's go back here. So we have here that this gentleman, Nikolenko, says that they should be considered Ukrainian military because he said so. Well, the Russians have the power, bye-bye. British Foreign Secretary Liz Truss, low and unexperienced. I'm sorry, my British fellow friends, but just, I'm sorry. I have no dog in the fight. I don't care about her. I don't care about that. But look, listen to her. Listen. You don't have to really do anything else. Just listen to what she says. Says that. So she pronounced the sentence as a sham judgment with absolutely no legitimacy. Prime Minister Boris Johnson's spokesman Jamie Davis said that under the Geneva Convention, POWs are entitled to immunity as combatants. That's true. That's true if you take it as a POW. But if these are considered terrorists and they're considered this and that, I don't think that's still there, right? But as I said, these guys have the power. Now we find out that the father of the Moroccan fighter told the Moroccan online Arab language newspaper Madar 21 that his son is no mercenary and that he holds Ukrainian citizenship. Okay. And then Aslin and Piner's family have said that the two men were long-serving members of the Ukrainian military. Both are said to have lived in Ukraine since 2018. Okay. The three men fought alongside Ukraine troops before Piner and Aslin surrendered to the pro-Russian forces in the southern port of Mariupol in mid-April, and Sadun was captured in mid-March in the eastern city of Volovanka. And then another British fighter taken prisoner by the pro-Russian forces, Andrew Hill, is awaiting trial. The Russian military has argued that foreign mercenaries fighting on Ukraine's side are not combatants and should expect long prison terms at best if captured. Right? Well, they have the power to whatever they want. Now, legally, legal. Remember, the Americans declared that the people that they caught in Afghanistan and Iraq, there were something like saying something combatants, I can remember, that would not fall under the Geneva Convention. So they just created a new term for the fighters that they caught in order to put them in Guantanamo Bay and take care of them, if you know what I mean. And some of them, I don't know if they're still there or not, but nevertheless. So I can remember something combatant. Just look into that. And then the same, the Russians say whatever they want. What are you going to do to them? What can you do? That's the problem. The rule of law. All right, nevertheless. Unfortunately, those three people are caught. The Russians have the power, and we'll see where this thing goes. And I have a little, I want to say normal person. Regular person, okay? Are there any mercenaries fighting on the Ukrainian side? No. If the Russians will catch any foreign fighters and he is a mercenary, will Ukrainians say, yes, those are mercenaries? Will they say that? I guarantee you, no. Because there's no, this is the dogma, there's no mercenary fighting on the Ukrainian side. They are on the Russian side, right? That's how the things go. But not on Ukraine. Zero, none, squat. You know what I mean? So you expect these guys to have a fair trial? Did Ukraine have a fair trial with the Russian military? How do you know? Well, if you know they had and you respect that decision, you should respect this one, unless you think that these are all bad and those are all good. Well, that's religious here. I don't get into that. I go with Greek logic and evidence and all that scientific method. And, thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth and be just. Not with the current Greek logic, with the ancient Greek logic, with our civilization, with the Roman law.